NASA's Artemis II sent 4 humans further from Earth than any crew in over 50 years. They won't land. This mission had one question. Can the machine keep them alive long enough to bring them home again?
December 1972. Commander Gene Cernan pressed his boot into the lunar dust one final time. His words echoed across Taurus Littrow Valley. We leave as we came. God willing, we shall return. The engines fired. The ascent module climbed away from the surface, and humanity left the moon behind. For 53 years, no human returned. The programs were cancelled. The budgets gutted. The silence grew. Blueprints gathered dust in government archives. Rocket stages corroded in hangars across the American South. Dreams stalled completely. Constellation was cancelled. The space launch system delayed for over a decade. Political will vanished with every administration. Then, in 2022, an uncrewed capsule called Orion launched on Artemis I and circled the moon. It returned battered. Engineers discovered the heat shield had spalled. Chunks of protective material broke away during re-entry. The shield built to protect a crew had failed its first real test. Engineers across every facility scrambled. They redesigned the re-entry profile. No skip maneuver. Instead, a steeper plunge straight through the atmosphere at speed. At Kennedy Space Center, rocket stacking for Artemis II began. Segment by segment, the Colossus slowly took shape. February 2026. The countdown rehearsal began and then stopped cold. Liquid hydrogen bled from the core. They fixed the leak and tried again. The second rehearsal passed, but a helium issue forced total rollback. The rocket crept back inside the building on its crawler at 1 mile per hour. Defeat personified. The launch slipped from February to March to April. Every single delay tested the nerve of everyone involved. But 4 people never wavered. Commander Wiseman, Pilot Glover, Mission Specialists Koch and Hansen. Always ready. They are the first people to travel to the moon in more than half a century. They named their spacecraft Integrity. Trust in the machine carrying them to the moon had to be absolute. Before launch, Mission Control played a recorded message from Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell, who had died months earlier. "Welcome to my old neighborhood," he said, a voice from Apollo reaching across half a century of silence. April 1st. 2026. The flight termination system flagged a critical fault. Engineers reached for shuttle-era hardware. The fix held.
10 seconds.
The poll came back unanimous.
9.
Go for launch.
8.
The countdown entered its final 10
7.
seconds.
T-minus 10.
8.8 million pounds of thrust, 4 astronauts, 1 destination. This is the launch of Artemis II.
April 1st, 2026. 6:35 in the evening. 8.8 million pounds of thrust ignited. The twin solid boosters delivered 75% of the force needed to lift 5 million pounds skyward. The vehicle cleared the tower. Integrity climbed through the atmosphere, carrying 4 souls toward the edge of everything. Max Q. Maximum aerodynamic pressure tore at the vehicle from every angle. The airframe held. The ascent continued. 2 minutes and the solid boosters burned out and separated, 2 white pillars tumbling away toward the Atlantic. 8 minutes after launch, the core stage engines cut off. The main stage fell away. Orion flew on. The upper stage fired its engine. 49 minutes after launch, it pushed Integrity into an elliptical Earth orbit. The solar array wings unfolded, 4 panels locked into position. Flight controllers in Houston confirmed full power draw. The apogee raise burn fired for 18 minutes. It pushed the orbital high point to 43,000 miles, higher than any human since Apollo 17. The crew was already rewriting the record books high above Earth. Orion separated from the upper stage. Pilot Glover took manual control and began the proximity operations demonstration flight. For 70 minutes, he hand flew Integrity around the spent stage, testing every axis. His verdict was simple. Very nicely, very precise. The spacecraft designed to carry humans to the moon responded to every single input. Inside the cabin, Koch identified a fan issue with the waste collection system. She worked it with ground. Day 2 arrived. The crew completed orbital checks. Every life support system aboard Integrity was confirmed fully operational. Then came the moment that changed everything. The Translunar Injection burn. 6 minutes of firing. No abort option.
The moon is now pulling them in. Stay with us for the flyby, the blackout, and the journey home.
The engine cut off. Integrity was now committed to a lunar trajectory. There was no turning back. Earth began to shrink behind them. The crew watched through windows as home slowly became a blue marble. Days 3 through 5. The long coast toward the moon. System checks hourly. Radiation monitors running without pause. They adapted to life inside a capsule no bigger than a van. Sleeping bags on walls. Meals rationed. Through the windows, the moon grew larger every passing hour, grey and ancient and waiting for them ahead. They were now the farthest humans from Earth in all of history, and still accelerating toward the moon.
252,000 miles from Earth, the signal vanished. What happened behind the moon changed everything.
Day 6. Orion crossed an invisible boundary. Lunar gravity became the dominant force shaping its entire trajectory forward. At 12:56, the crew passed 248,000 miles. Apollo 13's record was officially broken. They kept going. 252,000 miles from Earth, the farthest any humans had ever been. The 7-hour lunar observation period began. The crew divided into pairs and took positions at the windows. They reported color variations invisible to any camera, subtle browns and grays the human eye alone could distinguish. Then the crew proposed names for 2 unnamed craters. The first they called Integrity after their own spacecraft. The second they named Carol, after Commander Wiseman's late wife who lost her battle with cancer in 2020. Earth dropped below the lunar horizon. Earth set. The crew watched home disappear behind a world of stone. Then the signal vanished. Orion passed behind the far side of the moon, and a 40-minute communications blackout began in silence. Mission control could only wait. No telemetry, no voice, no data. 4 humans alone on the dark side of the moon. 40 minutes later, the signal returned. Earth rose above the opposite horizon. Koch spoke first to the ground. "It is so great to hear from Earth again," she said. Mission control erupted. The crew was safe. Then the sun disappeared behind the moon. A 53-minute solar eclipse began from the darkest vantage point imaginable. Glover called it unreal. The corona glowing around the lunar edge while they floated in total orbital darkness. The return transit took 4 days. 3 trajectory correction burns refined the path. Earth grew larger every hour. Day 10. The crew donned their suits and compression garments. Orion's service module separated and fell away behind. Then the atmosphere hit. 24,664 miles per hour. Temperatures reaching 2,700 degrees. A sheath of superheated plasma engulfed the capsule. Every radio frequency blocked. 6 minutes of total communications blackout. Mission control held its breath. No telemetry, no voice. The crew riding a fireball through the atmosphere alone. The signal returned. Several parachutes deployed in sequence. Integrity slowed from 300 miles per hour to 17. Splashdown. 8 in the evening. Pacific Ocean off San Diego. A perfect bullseye. 4 crew green. Artemis II proved we can get there. Next time the boots go back on the surface and they stay.
If this opened your eyes to what's next, hit that like button. Subscribe to Novatech and stay at the frontier of discovery. There's more to uncover. Click the video on your screen now and continue the journey with us.